Welcome to 100 Yards of Football. It's our college football team preview. Today, we're going to preview the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me today is the very talented Mr. Bobby Butler that played at Florida State University, was an All-American, and he's a first-round draft pick in the 1981 NFL Draft by the Atlanta Falcons. So if you enjoyed the video today, please come in and share it as we're getting ready to break down the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So, Brother Butler, what do you like about the Fighting Irish coming in 2020?
Well, I tell you, I love the head coach, Brian Kelly. I think he's a great coach for the job. His last 3 years, he went 33-6. That's the best period now, Vincent, since Lou Holtz in 91 through 93, right? But here's the problem with Notre Dame. They haven't won a national title since 1988. We're going on 30 some odd years, man, before they won their last title. They've been in the college playoffs, I think, one time since we started the college playoff. So they got to get back to that level. I think America wants to see Notre Dame back up at that level, right? It's just something about that program. It's just something about that program that we want to see up there, right? So let's go back. Let's talk about what they have coming back. First of all, they got their quarterback, Ian Book, back. He's a gunslinger. And so Coach Kelly really likes this guy. And he talks about how he's such a great leader and how he showed resilience and leadership after that Michigan loss last year to come back and win 6 in a row. All right. So they ended real strong last year. All right. But they lost 3 receivers. He lost 3 of his receivers. But I really believe, Vincent, I always say wide receivers are a dime a dozen, but I believe they got a real good receiver room. They've been expecting Kevin Austin from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to be a big-time receiver up there. And, last year he was suspended. And so this year they're looking for him to break out, to do something great at Notre Dame. So let's look for Kevin Austin to do something in that room. They also had this guy, Brayton Lindsay, who can take the top off of a defense. He can flat out fly, Vincent. He can go, right? And so you got to respect his speed and his ability to run the ball, on sweeps, all right? Jet sweeps. And so they got 2 receivers in the room that can do it. And they also have Lawrence Keys III, who's a playmaker as well. So their receiver room is going to be good. Their tight end, though, is going to add a lot of flavor to their game. We got a guy from right here in Norcross, Georgia, played at Westland High School, Tommy Trimble. Had a real good season last year as a sophomore. Heading into his junior year, I expect big things out of him because he had some catches and made some great plays last year. Then at running back, they did it by committee primarily last year. They had 6 guys. They couldn't identify a guy last year. But it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to have a so-called superstar guy name as long as you're getting the job done. But this year, you need to look for Jafar Armstrong to take the starting role. And they'll rotate, him with Sebo Flemister, right, who played a big role in 2019. So they're going to be fine. And here's what I love about this offense, though, man. They got a good quarterback. They're going to be good at receivers and tight end. Running backs, they can get the job done. But their offensive line, off the chain. And if you got an offensive line like that can match bodies, hey, man, put me in the backfield. I'm 61 years old, and I can get me 1,000 this year, I believe. Let me be a quarterback, and you can protect me. So they got 6 returning regulars on their offensive line. Tackle Robert Hainsey, Tommy Kramer, who's an NFL prospect. You got Leon Etchenberg, who's got NFL talent, and Center Jared Patterson, who's another guy who's got NFL talent, pedigree. So, man, look, they're going to be strong up front. They'll get the job done on offense, right? They'll get the job done on offense. On defense, they got to replace some pass rushers. They lost 3. And so they got Ade Agundijai. Look for him to go and get the job done. He played real good last year, too. He was in the rotation. They'll get the job done. But at linebackers, they got a blue-collar guy. See, when we talk about our linebackers, Vincent, I like the term blue collar, right? Because that means they're hard nosed and they're tough, right? And you want that's the kind of guy you want at middle linebacker. So you got Drew White paired with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They both had great seasons last year, and I look for them just to go to the next level. Here's the thing, man. When you're in college and you played as a sophomore, you played as a junior, whatever, freshman, and you come back the next year, now it's time to make your name, and it's time to get your draft status together, right? So these guys are going to be hungry coming back. Hey, listen, in the secondary, they're going to be pretty okay, but they lost most of the secondary. But they got some guys who got some playing time last year. Sean Crawford will be a corner, right? He returned. And transfer Nick McLeod could be a dependable corner as well. But Kyle Hamilton, he's a standout safety. He's going to make it happen. He's going to be a difference maker in the secondary. And here's what I like about that. You know, you got young guys, some guys who don't have experience, but he'll be able to put them and be a leader back there, put them in their spots where they need to be. You know, they'll be fine in the secondary. But what they got to do, Vincent, on defense, they got to replace those 5 defensive linemen. Now, we got to know this. It is Notre Dame. They've got to have some people that's going to step up and make it happen, right? Now, I don't know how well they're going to do overall, but I see them at the top end, Vincent, this year, maybe 9-3 at the top end. They always play a hefty schedule. They're going to always play USC every year, right? They're going to always play Michigan, right? They play Stanford. They play a pretty good schedule every year because guess what? They're not in a conference. So they're independent like we were when I was at Florida State. We could play anybody, right? And so with the college playoff system, that kind of schedule don't work for them. It really don't work for them. But I see them at the bottom end, they'll be an 8-4 team. At the top end, I see them maybe winning nine games and losing 3 games. But they will not make the college playoffs this year.
Well, Brother Butler, you broke that down very well. I'm going to kind of disagree with you just a little bit because you are the legend now. And I don't want you upset today. I want to keep you happy. I learned this from you, Brother Butler. Mm-hmm. You told me 2 big things about a football team is your quarterback. They got a very experienced quarterback coming back in Ian Brook. He's 20-3 in his time under center.
Yeah. And
you told me this. Any team that has an offensive line that's good and can win the line of scrimmage, I'm getting this from you now. That's you right. Said they're going to be a pretty good football team. Right. And Notre Dame got 6 starters coming back. Mm-hmm. 5 that started and 1 that's played a lot of football. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to agree with you, Brother Butler. I like Brian Kelly. Mm-hmm. In 2016, when he went 4-8, let's keep it real. Everybody thought he was gone. Mm-hmm. But that man had bounced back and had, as you said, 3 great seasons when he's won 33-6.
That's right.
So to me, he's got a very experienced offensive line, a very experienced and good quarterback, a young man that can play some football in Ian Book. And another thing, this Notre Dame, man, like you said, a dime a dozen, they got good football players at the skill position. Like you mentioned, Brandon Lindsay. The young man, Kevin Austin. They got one of the best recruits in the country, Jordan Johnson. So they're going to be all right. And on the defensive side of the ball, I like Kyle Hamilton out of the DeKalb County Marist High School. And Drew White, another great football player at the middle linebacker position. But to me, it's like all the other Notre Dame teams that we had over the last couple of seasons. It comes down to me with them, can they win their big games? They go to Milwaukee, they go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. They play Wisconsin in October. And then they got Clemson coming up to the Golden Dome November the 7th.
That's right.
And I'm going to tell you, to me, they, like you said, Brother Butler, they lost a lot on defense. No question about it. But this is Notre Dame. And I think Brian Kelly has got this team going in a direction that he's recruited well. He's got a very experienced quarterback. And he made a big move in the offseason. If I had to say anything that's going to keep Notre Dame from really being that top 10 conversation, he changed offensive coordinators. He let Chip Long leave. He brought in a guy that played quarterback for him early in his career. He was coaching Brian Kelly and Tommy Reeves. And from all indications, they said this young man's the next big thing on the national level, Mr. Reeves. He's really bonding with the team. So you're looking at a guy in Mr. Reeves who played quarterback in Notre Dame, offensive coordinator. The team seems to like him. And you got a very experienced quarterback in Ian Book, who's went 20-3 now. In 2 of the games he's lost, he lost to Clemson in the college football playoffs, and he lost last year at Georgia and Michigan, and that's it. And to me, dun, 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 Notre Dame, to me, is going to be a very, very dangerous football team. Brother Butler, final words on Notre Dame.
I agree with you. They're gonna be dangerous. But they do play a tough schedule. If they can figure out that defensive line play, because you gotta have a line on both sides, right? And so if they can figure that out, hey, they're gonna have a pretty good year. They're gonna have a pretty good year regardless, Vincent, right? They're gonna win a lot of football games. There's no question about that. But I really want to see the Notre Dame program back to where it used to be. You know, that makes America, great. We have Notre Dame up there in the top 5, right? So.
That being said, if you like the video, please come in and share it. As Brother Butler said, it's fantastic when Notre Dame is back on top. It's like Touchdown Jesus. That's a nickname. The people out of South Bend, Indiana. One more time, if you like the video today, please come in and share it. We are 100 Yards Football. I'm your host, Vincent Turner, and joining me is the legend, 12-year veteran of the National Football League, my man, Mr. Bobby Butler, by way of Florida State University. Y'all have a wonderful 4th of July weekend.